Hi, you guys again. The last video got cut off from part one, and I'm about to do part two of the homeless for 2 years. I had time to think about it after doing that first video from a few hours ago, and I I've come through a lot, and didn't really understand at the time what I really actually came through. Death traps and all that. But let's get into it. So, if you would like to help me with my channel, you can just look down in the description box, and there you go. And let me continue on what happened once I got to the hotel shelter in Baltimore. So, when I got there and got processed and everything it was a whole different environment than what I was used to in other shelters that I had previously been in. And it gave me a sense of freedom to be the person I wanted to be. I knew it was like really temporary, but it was the stepping stone I needed to have that life I wanted again. So it gave me the freedom to walk in the mornings or jog or whatever. I will walk and sing and listen to my headphones and stuff. It was a very being by the water. It was very spiritual for me, and it was a time in my life to where I didn't take it for granted. And even though it was like really short lived, because I only lived there for about a couple of weeks. And so when I was there, I did a lot of walking in Baltimore downtown and all that to get away. It was like a Saturday one night when I was walking back from a karaoke place where you actually wasn't like real karaoke. You had to pay for the rooms and stuff. And so I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just go home. So I was walking through Baltimore downtown, and who did I come across? Yeah, you got it, my ex-husband. He runs up to me and he's like, he just starts trying to talk to me, and I'm like, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. I had finally got my closure that I needed, by walking away. And it was like bittersweet to see him the way he was at that time, because he started blaming me for everything. Of course, like I'm the blame person. I used him. Yeah, I used him. Even though I didn't use him at all. I tried to make it work, but it did not work. It wasn't for me to work. He was just too mentally damaging to my mind. And it was even a point to where he told me that, because I believe in God and I talk about God. And so the place we were at when we were together, when we finally got together, they had like these classes, and and I would talk about God in them. And he didn't want me to do that. And for somebody, I told him, I was like, look, the reason we're here to this point in our lives right now is because of God. If it wasn't for God, you wouldn't be able to be next to me right now like we are. So all these things like this, where you think that you don't believe in that's all we've been doing since I've came back into your life. So he comes up to me and he's like, so what? Do you not even want to know what I'm like, what's been going on with me? And I said no. And he's like, well, I mean, don't you care about me? I said, no. And, he started trying to see about, he tried to play it sweet at first, to see if he could try to sweet talk me back in. And I saw right through it, of course. And then he was like, well, you use me. You use me. You, no, I didn't use you. But he was, saying that I did this, I did that, do you even want to know what's going on? No, I don't. I just want you out of my face right now. That's what I want. I want you to leave me alone. Leave me in peace. And he was like, yeah, you used me to get here so you could do whatever you wanted here. That's what you did. You did whatever you wanted to get here. And by this time, I'm peaceful. I didn't even holler in the conversation. I was so done with all the little manipulation tactics that he tried to put on me. I was done. And I already had a plan I already had the plan. I was just waiting on the time and place for it to leave. He thought that I wanted to be in Baltimore, out of all places. No. I wanted to have a fresh start. It was always about me having a fresh start wherever I went. Don't you understand that, you guys? It's like when I took the trip to Texas, it was all about starting over. I saw the beaches, it was beautiful. But it was always about me starting over. Do you know how many times I had to start over and over? Since I left at 17 from California to Oklahoma to begin with, to get away from a place of torture for me in California. To start over again through my life, in college, after college, with my firstborn child. I had to start over then. I had to start over so many times. Even when I finally got married for the first time. I didn't get married until I was 30. And even when that happened, it was torture. Torture for the first marriage for so long. And then I had to start over again after that. Or I was with somebody off and on. But it wasn't about him. It was about me. And me feeling better. And then the whole divorce thing from the first, going through that. Going through having my child taken away for no reason. After raising her until she was 12. Going on 13. And her being convinced by my ex-spouse to be that I was crazy when I wasn't. And then for him telling that to my son as well. So when I get in the house, when I have him come into my house, he's looking for things that aren't there because of what his stepfather told him about me that wasn't true. That's a lot of the reasons why I did these crazy trips, to Texas, to Baltimore. It was because of the fact that I was dealing with the repercussions of a first ex-husband who was tormenting me even after the separation in 2019 and even after the divorce in 21. Then we're going to find out that he was still tormenting me, even in the past few months. Now you can understand that gap of 2019, and now it is 2026. And to come to find out that he has still been smearing my name for no reason. And I'm a person who hasn't done anything but survive all this. You know, I took care of him. I took care of my first ex-husband to the point of child support was over when she turned 18, yeah. It wasn't paid to where she was almost 19, all of it, but I took care of the child support. I was the one that had to pay the child support to him. That's how lazy he was, and probably still is. I don't know. I haven't been in his life since 2019 because I didn't want to be in it. And then to finally get married again, and then he turned out to be abusive too. You know, it was never about me using anybody. It was always about me and how I could get someplace and start over and have a better life. But that's what I was put in the category as. The opposite of who I actually am. I was told that some people thought that I was a gold digger. Somebody who preyed on men. Wow. When I was nothing but the opposite. When I'm in love, I love hard. I am very loyal. And if I had money at the time, I would give it because that's just the way it is. Because the men that I came across always wanted to take from me, no matter how much I made in life, and I made plenty. But see, here's the thing. I don't like burning bridges unless I have to. And there are men out there that I had to burn bridges because of the fact that I had to. My 2 ex-husbands. No going back. Never. They ran it out. They ran it out well. So even now, I'm back home, you know, because you guys know about the Montana trip. I don't need to talk about that. So that's what happened once I went from Baltimore. I went to Montana, and then I came back home to Oklahoma. That's where I'm at now, being peaceful. And what I want in my life now, the reason I'm on here is so you guys can understand that even though I've been through so much in my life, I'm still here. Looking good, smelling good, tasting good, whatever. But I'm here. Being my confident self that I've always have been. And I want to share my story. I always wanted to share my story. And so YouTube gives me a chance to do that. So if you want to hear about my story in more times, of course I'll have more videos about it. But I'm not a person just by looking at can get over. I am a very huge tapped in person with God, the Creator, the Almighty. because I love him and because I obey him. And I chose to obey him. So even though I may have been in a shelter once or been around the wrong crowd or, but it's still everybody's people. And no matter where you at, no matter if you don't have no money and homeless to the point of you have money and rich, you can still be ugly. But I'm not going to let that stop me from achieving my goals in life. Because I know my story is going to help somebody who may go through that or help somebody who have gone through that as well understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to share that with everybody because that's what God gave me the purpose in my life to do, to help heaven come to earth the right way. Until next time, you guys have a great week.